Hi, my name is Mark Walker. I'm the editorial director at the FinTech Times, and we're here at Web Summit in Qatar. Thank you very much for joining me. Perhaps you could start off by introducing yourself to our audience.
Thank you, Mark. Hi, everyone. I'm Murad. I'm a senior partner at Global Ventures. We are a regional VC firm investing across the Middle East and Africa in tech-enabled businesses. Sweet spot is Series A, and very excited to be here with you today.
Fantastic. So let's start with unpacking what you guys do. Obviously, big area that you cover. And you sort of talk about Series A. What's your sort of main area of focus?
So we tend to focus on companies that are moving from startup to scale up, that have achieved product market fit, have traction. There's different definitions to how you can attribute traction, but we want to see something that is really sort of just at the end of that startup phase and moving towards that scale up phase. That's where our expertise can come in. Where we can be more helpful, where our investment comes with what we like to call value creation support.
I guess I use a phrase which is smart money. So a lot of people, occasionally I've asked, people have been asking for dumb money, but maybe that's a different sort of thing. But it's really about not only creating that money, the value to the company, but also creating additional services as well. So what are the extra value adds that you sort of add in?
So what makes us better?
Yeah, basically.
So I actually wrote an article about this 5 years ago. It's on our website, global.vc. And we were talking about, in that article, the notion of smart capital or strategic capital and different terminology around it. I tried to coin the phrase global capital, lending itself to global ventures, which is basically deep value creation, where we come in, we will invest, we will identify opportunities where we can actually add value, where we can open up doors, create relationships for founders, help build on the revenue side of the business, help build on the fundraising side of the business. Different facets, different areas. We actually have a very structured framework. It's 7 layers, very specific. I'm not going to go into the details here, but it's actually designed to really take these companies from startup to scale up phase. It involves cross-border expansion. It involves fundraising. It involves revenue growth. It involves elements around product, around governance, around PR and awareness, around different aspects that can impact the growth of a company and how you ensure a higher degree of success.
And I guess that sounds all like interesting and very tailored to the investment portfolio. So I guess it's not something that you can advertise or market, oh, this is what we do for you. You need to meet people and kind of get to know people and explain things, yeah?
We do, and I believe the best source of marketing for you as an investor is your portfolio. It's the companies that have benefited from your support, that have benefited from your experience, founders that are out there saying, this investor was tremendously supportive in helping me do X or do Y or deliver Z. And then you start to see tangible results, you start to see that referral mechanism kicking in, and I believe that the best founders will refer the best founders, and that creates a virtuous flywheel effect, if you will.
Yeah. So thinking about sort of how long have you been sort of going on? What sort of number of investments have you done today?
So Global Ventures started in 2018. I joined the partnership in 2019. And so it's been over 5 years of doing this. I joined when we were still raising our first fund and had a small portfolio. Today, across 3 funds, we have 68 investments. We're actively investing from our 3rd fund. And we've made 68 investments.
Interesting start point. 2019 always stands in my head as the just before the big C, COVID sort of happened. So was that a positive thing for you to be able to sort of come through that and then start deploying at the end, or?
I don't think I'd use COVID and positive in the same sentence. The reality is, so 2019 was a great year. It was still early in the ecosystem. Go back to before Global Ventures started. So the year 2017, the entire ecosystem was less than $300 million. Last year, $3 billion, the MENA ecosystem specifically. And so you're looking at a time when sort of there was a lot of activity, a lot of buzz, but it was still nascent. We've now moved from that nascency and we're moving to that growth phase of our ecosystem. And that is where we see opportunity. And so with that opportunity, COVID or not, COVID accelerated or not, I think the regional ecosystem in general has gone through significant growth. It has been generally, I'd say the past 5-6 years, a very positive time. And we're literally at probably the most exciting time for our regional ecosystem at the moment. And so COVID aside, and we can park it, there was a lot of acceleration of digital adoption. This comes from a young tech-savvy population across the region. If we take the region that we invest in, the Middle East and Africa, largely populous, youth bulge in the population pyramid, high degree of education, strong access to technology, connectivity, everything that you need that lends itself well to the growth of a tech ecosystem. And so, yes, we are very bullish. Yes, as a VC, I am an optimist, but I have to be, and I believe that we are seeing the results. We are seeing that growth across sectors. So we've always been very thesis-driven with our investments. What do I mean by that? We actually do research. We put research behind what we want to invest into, what our portfolio will be constructed like, how we are going to shape an entire portfolio across the fund, what types of investments we want to make, and what sectors we want to dive into and focus on.
That's really interesting, because that was going to be my next question of what are the specific sectors that you're interested in at the moment?
I would say this has sort of evolved. And I think in general, I said we're sector agnostic, tech and tech enabled. And I think the ecosystem generally is still not at a point where you can have that specificity purely. However, a thematic approach is doable. And so in 2018, we had taken an approach where we went heavy into fintech. In 2020, this won't surprise you, given the earlier comment, we went heavy into digital health. Today, we're seeing a lot of opportunity in sectors like supply chain tech and agri-tech. We think it's a very exciting time for that space. And we've published reports on those, by the way. They are, as I mentioned earlier, available on our website for consumption. We believe in sharing our research because it's important that we all work together to build out an ecosystem.
Wonderful. And I guess asking about your favorite portfolio customers is a bit like asking which one is your favorite children. But which one of your portfolio companies are you most interested in what they're doing at the moment?
Look, I think to your comment, you can't ask me which my favorite child is, and so it's unfair to ask which is my favorite portfolio company. But what I can say is there's different timing on opportunity where we can be very helpful to a portfolio company and where we engage deeper. And it's down to two things. One, either opportunity that we're seeing, or two, opportunity that the companies are coming across, which will require more support, more hands-on support from us. And we're always happy to lend a helping hand and to dive in. We have purposely built our team size to be one that can help work with a portfolio, more of a platform model. We have 19 people across the Global Ventures team. And that is by design. It is specifically to enable us to be more active and more present with our portfolio.
Okay, fantastic. So maybe not on your favorite child. There is obviously a big buzz around where we are today at Web Summit Qatar about AI. Is that something that features heavily within your portfolio, or is it something you're looking to incorporate?
I had this conversation with someone earlier this morning. My opinion is AI is ubiquitous. It cuts across. I don't see it as vertical, I see it as horizontal. And the question today is similar to somebody 7, 8, 10 years ago asking you, are you building on cloud? Are you building on AI? Inherently, if there is a technology out there that can make a business more effective, more efficient, and that can lend itself well to the way that a tech stack is shaped, it should be considered and should be integrated. Now, whether it's AI enabled or AI led is a different conversation that we can have. But the reality is, yes, we're seeing a lot more AI coming into A, our portfolio, and B, our pipeline. And again, that's not a cut across.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, and it's quite reassuring to hear a VC talk about that. I would have thought back in 2021, 22, there was a lot of VCs that seemed to be FOMO-based investment strategies. And so I think your approach makes a lot of sense. Turning to sort of Web Summit Qatar, we've been here today, and this particular country, where do you think it stands within the whole Middle East and Africa region on a standpoint from innovation and tech?
So I think in general, the region as a whole is working together to build out an ecosystem. Qatar is one of the markets. UAE, Saudi, Jordan, Egypt, Bahrain, other markets. We're seeing a lot of strong companies coming out of the regional markets, and those that are also trying to address regional opportunities. So it's not a one-to-one. It's continuously a one-to-many and a many-to-one, if that makes sense. And so you'll see some of the most successful stories coming out of this region are ones that have managed to crack multiple markets, taking their use case and being able to nuance it, localize it, bring it to a specific market with a specific use case, making sure that they apply it in a thoughtful way. So the go-to-market strategies are very thoughtful, very structured, very tailored to a certain extent. Yes, there are similarities, language is a similarity, culture, there are cultural similarities, but then you see the whole ecosystem moving together. And that's why the comments I made earlier about the size of the ecosystem, it's a cluster, it's not a single country.
Interesting. And I guess final sort of question, you've obviously spent a couple of days here at Web Summit. What have you seen that's been most interesting, or what are you hoping to see?
The energy is great. The energy is incredible. I've met some amazing founders. I've met some amazing ecosystem enablers, investors, everybody across the board. It's fantastic to see people coming under one roof, proverbially and physically, to actually deliver a common goal. I believe that our ecosystem has started to graduate from that nascency. We're moving into that growth stage. That requires us to work hand in hand together to deliver results for an entire ecosystem altogether.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.